Welcome to Travels with Charlie, Vermont politics in real life. Today's topic, we're discussing the food scrap ban in Vermont's landfills, which was part of Act 148, a universal recycling and composting law, was passed unanimously in 2012. Discussing the topic with me today, Kim Crosby, Environmental Compliance Manager with Casella Waste Systems. Kim, thanks for being with me.
Thank you for having me.
And we are at Senator John Rodgers' farm in West Glover, Vermont. Let's be clear on that.
West Glover.
No,
West
Glover.
of Glover.
Senator Rodgers was a member of the legislature since 2013. Started off in the House. Thank
2003,
you.
actually.
2003. All
Yep.
right. You know, you're not supposed to correct the host.
Oh, okay.
All right.
I'm new at this, Charlie.
We'll go with that. Don't make me sick the dog on you. Let's see if we can give a little bit of background on the law. Like, number one, like, why do we need the law? You know, some of the research that I've done on it was to keep reusable resources out of the landfill. And we also want to reduce the amount of methane produced and released into the air. It's kind of snuck up on us. I mean, it became law in 2012. Here we are, 2020, and here it is. And anecdotally, I can't tell you how many people I know that were like, really? We're supposed to do that?
Yeah.
Casella Waste Systems, how are you guys complying with all of this, and where are we at?
Yeah, we've been managing compost in Vermont for longer than 12 years. So, you know, mostly on at the commercial level, certainly not at the single household level. We're starting to do that now, but the rural areas of Vermont, which here we are in a rural area of Vermont, are really challenging from a curbside collection standpoint. Just the distance that you have to travel, and you don't get the route density that you need to get enough customers to participate in the service to make it economically and sustainably viable.
John, you introduced a bill, I think it was 2018. You can correct me if I'm wrong, it's fine. S285. You wanted to delay the composting portion of the bill, correct?
Well, there were several things I wanted to do. Number one, there's no infrastructure in the kingdom, so there's no place for our guys to haul their stuff to. And let's remember, Casella's facility, landfill, does make power out of the methane.
That's right.
That's coming out of it. So from my perspective, it made sense for the haulers around here, until there was infrastructure set up for composting nearby, to continue to put it there. The biggest problem that I had with the bill as written is I don't believe you should mandate that the haulers go into the food scrap collection business. We don't tell other businesses that they have to offer a service that they don't offer. I'm fine with them making Vermonters responsible for their food scraps, but you should not force haulers to pick up.
Should we have delayed this further beyond 2020, do you think, Kim?
The only reason we asked for a delay at this point was because of the pandemic. It wasn't an excuse to delay it, it was a reason to delay it. And we're, in some cases, 6 to 8 weeks out on getting containers to set people up to collect.
John, who can we expect at the food scrap bin first? The police, or one of your dogs, or a bear?
Well, if you live close to people, it might be your neighbor complaining about the lobsters you threw in there last night. But yeah, that is one of the issues. Critters are definitely an issue. You have to have a really secure compost bin, or you're going to have constant problems. And of course, you know, it's pretty hard to secure something from a bear.
Yeah. Is somebody going to actually be fishing through my trash and going, Charlie, you got eggshells in here and some meat bones?
Yeah, fortunately, we're not going to have the food and garbage police. We still have to educate people and teach them how to do it, or we're not going to get compliance.
You know, anytime I want to bring up a conversation on methane, and John, and probably include you too. I know women just don't seem to get the humor.
The methane jokes?
And man, you know, this is where we insert the scene from the Blazing Saddles, the campfire scene. Woo-wee! But Kim, your company, you're utilizing it. I mean, it's a byproduct. That was one of the reasons why this bill was passed to kind of cut down on methane gas. But you can capture that methane gas and make good of it, right?
Yeah, I think, the organic material is an important ingredient in the gas. It's an important part of the breakdown of the waste in the landfill and generates that gas and gives us good quality gas to burn and to make energy.
I'm glad you find it as
Yeah.
humorous as I do. John's just holding back.
You gotta have good gas.
So let's talk about composting in our backyards, because I know, John, that's something that you do.
Yep, done it for years.
Can you kind of give us a little background on that? How it
Yeah,
works?
absolutely. Basically, one of the things that a lot of people don't do is add enough carbon. So you need to have something like wood chips or sawdust, or even grass clippings aren't quite as good, but they'll work, or leaves. But something for brown carbon is best. So every time you put your bin of food in, you should be adding about 3 times as much carbon. So you dump your food container in, and then you spread some sawdust or wood chips on it. That does a couple things. It helps it heat and break down. It's actually, the heat is what is actually making the composting happen. If you just put the food scraps in there, they're sort of going to rot, they're sort of going to compost, but you need that carbon for it. It also keeps the smell down, which all your neighbors will approve of.
Casella Waste did a trial before July 1st with, I think, about 1,200 homeowners. They signed up for composting. I think it was in South Burlington.
In South Burlington, yep.
After the trial, they asked those homeowners if they wanted to be a customer, and some pretty interesting numbers. You want to
Yeah,
give me those
so
numbers?
we solicited about 1,200 homes in South Burlington for a free organic curbside pickup service. We hit them a couple times with the information. About 110 people signed up for the free service. We went about 3 months. So we went back to the 110 customers. About 30 people decided to pay. It might have upticked a little bit since then, but again, you know, a lot of people are trying to figure out an alternative solution as opposed to paying for an additional service.
Yeah. And again, alternatives are either you're going to compost in your yard, or you can save your scraps, correct, and bring them
To a drop-off.
to a
Yep.
transfer station.
Yep.
You can
Yep.
do that. John, I'm sure you've seen a few bear out here
Oh yeah, we have lots of bear around.
on your property. So people will say, well, you know, you put a cinder block on top of that bin.
That won't deter a bear.
They're pretty
for long.
ambidextrous, aren't they? I mean, they can
Yeah,
literally
yeah,
just pick it up and.
I know a bunch of beekeepers, and unless you want to keep a hot electric fence that is like really strong and really hot, you are not going to keep a bear out if a bear wants to get in. And it will tear any compost bin you can make apart.
I'd like to go back to something that you brought up, because that's news to me. Bones and meat scraps. I thought that was something that we had to compost as well, but you're telling me no.
Well, if you're backyard composting, you don't have to put meat and bones in your compost bin. You can continue to throw those items in the trash. If you're collecting all of your food scraps and you're bringing it to a drop-off, then you have to bring all of that with you.
So bones would be in that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Or if you're getting a food scrap hauler, such as us, or one of the many that are out there, you'd have to put it in that container as well. It's only if you're backyard composting.
So this is the part of the series that I enjoy the most. I have fun with my guests, and that's not that, you know, bringing up the whole campfire scene of Blazing Saddles wasn't. I think we all enjoyed that. Don't pull John's finger, whatever you do. I'm going to give you a magic wand, a virtual magic wand, and I give it to you, and I let you, whatever you wish for, you know, obviously on our topic today. Although,
no peace on earth.
well, if you want to
Yeah.
go other ways, you can. You know, a new car, you know, whatever.
A vaccine?
A vaccine would be, boy, that'd be my wish. I think we'd take care of a lot of problems if we had
Yeah.
that. John, I'll let you go first, and thank you for letting us use your farm here today.
Yeah, happy to. I guess my magic wand would be that everybody gets up to speed and educates themselves on what the best thing to do with their food scraps is, and that we don't force haulers into doing something that they don't want to do.
Kim?
I think I would like to change some of the negative perceptions that are out there around the waste management industry in itself. It's an important part of managing our waste. We need it. It's an environmentally responsible way to manage what we do waste. Not everything can be recycled. So, landfills, people call them a necessary evil, but we do need them at this point until we are, if and when we are at a point where we're a zero waste society. We still need that infrastructure. And I think there's a lot of misconceptions about the importance of having that. I think that would be one thing that I'd like to see changed.
Once again, thanks to my guests today, Senator John Rodgers and Kim Crosby, Environmental Compliance Manager from Casella Waste Management, for being with me today. I want to remind you can see more episodes of Travels with Charlie on Facebook and on YouTube, and I'll see you in my travels.
I want to hear what unravels. I'll see you in my travels. And I'll be hanging round, covering lots of ground. If you'd be so kind to share what's on your mind. It's time well spent talking president. Though we may not agree, let your thoughts run free. You can have your turn.